What do you think is the role of the legislatures in this?
The legislature, the National Assembly, has done well by passing the Administration of Criminal Justice Bill into law. Do you know that the law is not, we're not implementing the law? For instance, the chief judge of every state is required to designate a magistrate to conduct visits to police stations within his or her jurisdiction every month, once a month, so as to ensure that those who have not been granted bail are granted bail, those who should not be there are released, and those who should be taken to court are taken to court. 2, all arrests made in the country shall be recorded, shall be sent to Abuja, to the headquarters of the police, and recorded in a central criminal registry. Quarterly, the Attorney General of the country will be furnished with the record of arrest and convictions made all over the country. And he shall, the Attorney General shall enter same in a manual and electronic database, so anybody can ask for a copy. Furthermore, the Comptroller General of Prisons in Nigeria, not later than 90 days, shall submit a report to the heads of our court with respect to those who are in prison, those who are standing trial, and those whose cases are not proceeding in our courts. These are the provisions of our law. The law has prohibited the arrest of any Nigerian for a civil wrong. So you can't detain anybody or arrest anybody any longer for a breach of contract. Furthermore, the law has prohibited the arrest of Mr. A in lieu of Mr. B. The law has prohibited the arrest of anybody for wandering. By the way, that law was abolished, the vagrancy law was abolished in 1989. But up to today, Nigerians have been arrested for wandering. The poor, because you can't arrest a rich man. A rich man strolls. If people... But a poor man wanders and you arrest him. So the point I'm making therefore is that Nigerians should be educated by our governors and governments to know their rights under the law and enforce them. For instance, with respect to why impunity has continued in the police force and in all our security agencies, is the fact that our attorneys general do not call them to order. For instance, the judgment debts against the Nigerian police force are over 25 billion naira in the last decade or thereabout. But what happens? You get this judgment and the court orders that somebody who has been detained illegally or somebody whose son has been killed should be compensated to the tune of 10-20 million naira. But the judgment is never paid. Let me get your final word. Just a minute. Because the Attorney General who defended the case in court, who lost the case to you, will have to give his consent before you can enforce the judgment. And so impunity continues.
Let me get your final words on this, because if you say that's going by the Constitution and the Criminal Justice Act, will SARS, for instance, survive if we're to go by the Constitution at all?
No, the Constitution will reform the SARS, just like any law enforcement agency in our country. You must operate under the rule of law. But what happens now? These agencies operate outside the Constitution. I give you an instance. On 2nd of December last year, I got a judgment that Ezaki and his wife be released from detention. The government has not complied. And nobody has called the Department of State Security to order. Go and release them. 2 Indians are being detained for alleged criminal offenses. Nobody has called the SSS to order. Go and release them or take them to court.